Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm working on day 7 of ByTheWell4God's Follow Me devotional kit. Now today is a very heavy mixed media day. I'm taking out all the sprays that I can get, and we're starting with some spray stains that match this kit's color. Now, I thought that I had mixed media heavy stock here. This was just a scrap piece of paper, and apparently I put it back in my little packaging for my mixed media heavy stock, but it is in fact not mixed media heavy stock. Mixed media heavy stock takes this spray much better. However, it does give a texture, this paper, but you can see here even the curling when you dry it and everything. So I know that it's not mixed media heavy stock. However, we're just gonna go with the flow because it's already cut out, and we're gonna put so many layers on this tag that you won't really be able to tell. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. Now, for those of you wondering what colors I used for this tag, in the Distress spray stains, I used Kitsch Flamingo, Mermaid Lagoon, and Wilted Violet. And then I came in on top of that with Distress Oxide spray and Spun Sugar, and also the Distress spray stain and Picket Fence. But even though it's a stain, it works more like an oxide, as you can see here. Now, I still had some wetness around, so I was trying to see what would happen with this paper if I just added some of the embossing glaze, and it did hold on to some of the wetness. However, this works much better with the mixed media heavy stock paper. So you'll see me here in a second move to a stencil from Tim Holtz, and I'm just going to use that and push some Versamark on through there, and then use that Kitsch Flamingo embossing glaze on top of that. I'm basically just trying to make as many layers as possible on this tag to get this nice, yummy mixed media look. Now, since I just used my Versamark ink pad to go through this stencil, I had some pretty harsh lines, and so I just come in with my finger and muddy up the edges a little bit, and that worked really well. And now it's time to heat set this stuff, and it comes out amazing, guys. I love embossing glaze. I love the transparency of it all, and just the ice kind of look that it gives. It kind of makes it look like candy on this tag. So now we're going to move on, and I'm going to use some of my Dina Wakley gloss spray. I have the colors Heather here, and then I'll also come in with some carnation pink at the end. Now, this carnation is more so of a pinkish coral than the Kitsch Flamingo. The Kitsch Flamingo is definitely more of a hot pink color, but I like the variation it gives on this tag. So we'll finish that up. I do like to let those just sit and dry if I have time. They look a lot better that way. And now we're going to take out this Cherry Blossoms stencil again. I'm loving this stencil from ByTheWell4God. I'm going to use Crackle Paste. Now, a lot of people don't appreciate Crackle Paste as much as texture paste. However, when you're working on a mixed media background, I absolutely love the look of Crackle Paste. Now, the only downside of this is similar to gloss sprays. It does better if you just put it aside and let it dry by itself. I usually try to do that for as long as possible, and then I end up finishing it off with my heat tool, as you see me doing here, and it gives a really nice crackle effect. Now it's time to turn our attention to the focal point or cluster of this tag, and so I'm going to take out this fabric pack that was an extra for this kit, and I'm going to use this blue piece. This matches really well with the Mermaid Lagoon spray that I used, and we're going to add this as the base of our cluster. Since it's the base, I don't care if I see any staples, and actually a lot of times I don't care if staples are shown anyhow, but we're going to use staples on the back. And now I'm trying to find another fabric to use on top of that, and I decide on this pink fabric that came with my tag bob kit, but instead of staples, I'm going to sew 2 little X's on this fabric and then glue it down with some Fabri-Tac glue. Now, I also want to bring a little bit more white to this tag, and so I decide to add one of my larger eyelets to that top little hole, and I will use my Crop-A-Dile to punch that in as well. Now, for this cluster, I'm still thinking of stuff as I add this eyelet in. I was trying to decide if I wanted an ephemera piece or I wanted it to be just notes. So I know that I want to use these labels. I thought possibly about using this car, but it did take up a lot of the background, and I don't want to do that, as the background I worked really hard on and I like it. So I decided to just skip that card for right now and I'll use it on a future tag. I add some of Tom's notes on this blue label, and like always, I'm adding it to some white paper just to add some stability and make it a little bit easier to get my placement correct. And I also had this purple label from a previous day that I had messed up on, and so I decided to repurpose it for today's tag and just add it so I can put the day on it. Now I'll stuff the part that I messed up on underneath the label so it's not seen, and I even have a little piece that I can use still on another day. I'm taking out my purple tile alphas to spell out day 7 on this purple label. And actually with these labels, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac glue to glue them down. Now, obviously this isn't fabric, but Fabri-Tac glue does really well with mixed media backgrounds. And since there is so much texture going on in this background, I want to use that Fabri-Tac glue to glue it down and have it done securely really fast. Now the Barely Arts glue would have worked too, but the Barely Arts glue just isn't as fast when it comes to drying time. And so that is why I chose the Fabri-Tac glue for this. So after this, I will snip that little edge off on the label, and then I'm going to come in with some frayed burlap. Now I don't have any frayed burlap on an ink pad or anything. I just have frayed burlap basically always on this makeup brush because I'm using it constantly. And this frayed burlap isn't used to make this look older or antiqued. It's simply to add some definition to the outer edges of this tag. It works really well to just add that completed look. So now I will glue this paper down to the actual tag, and then this tag will be done. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I'll try to link everything I use down below in the description, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.